Start your journey to parenthood with Pinnacle Fertility, Ohio. We offer IVF, surrogacy, genetic testing, and more, accepting all insurances and offering flexible payment plans. Your dream of parenthood begins with Pinnacle Fertility, Ohio's immediate affordable care. Book now at rgiohio.com.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm the mother of 3.5-year-old twin boys, and my infertility journey really started a year after getting married in 2019. I think we grow up in adolescence and young adulthood just trying not to get pregnant. And so when you actually want to get pregnant, when you can't, you're confused. So that was kind of our situation that we had. And I did all of the things, the cycle tracking, the ovulation strips, the little bracelet. And then, it started going down more deep rabbit holes of supplements and vitamins and my diet and all those things. And finally went to my doctor. And again, because I was young, it was like, you got to take your time. It'll take some time. And so after a year came and gone, we finally started down the medication track. And again, it's a spiral that you kind of go through and you hope each month that, okay, this will work. And so, we started with the medications and then moved to the IUIs. Funny story about that later. And then we moved on to more of the bigger stuff with IVF. And then once we were diagnosed with unexplained infertility, we realized quickly that we had a 1% chance each month of getting pregnant. And so we decided as a family to go through IVF, and it was probably one of the more positive experiences I've ever kind of had, and with the support of my doctors and that staff. And we were blessed with twin boys. So we did a single embryo transfer that split. And so, when you go through the IVF process, they tell you, our goal is for you to get pregnant with one single healthy baby. And so then when I went in for that first ultrasound, when there was two beings on the screen, and the doctor told me to stop talking because I was so confused. I was like, did it split? Is it an alien? To hear they're having identical twin boys, you immediately are now in a high-risk category. And so I feel like my whole kind of journey has been a challenge, but I think I've gotten stronger because of it. I was very blessed to be able to freeze some embryos. I've, had some loss since then, but now I am pregnant again. And so I'm very blessed to have, this as an option for our family. And I am also very excited to close this chapter. My journey impacted my mental health greatly. I became a very shell of a person. And when you have friends and family around you getting pregnant, it's hard not to feel that jealousy. And kind of you step away from the situation and ask yourself, why me? Like, why is this not happening to me? And I still think that impacts me today because how I carry myself, as a mother and as somebody who's going through a pregnancy right now, I'm not who I'm used to being. I think infertility robs you of all that joy because you always have the worst case scenario in the back of your head. When I was pregnant with my boys, I truly didn't feel relief until I was holding them. Because again, you just think your mind just goes to the worst place possible. And so I really think that my mental health has taken a huge hit in this stage of my life, but I am confident that, I'm almost there and we're going to start in this next stage in life and I can kind of start to be myself a little bit more again. My kids were born, my mother, who had twins, my brother and sister are twins, she knows what she's doing. I typed out a 4-page letter when I was leaving for one weekend of like what to do. And it was just my anxiety and it was my way of like coping with the situation. But if there's one person in the world I can trust, it was my mom. And for that to even impact my trust in her, I was like, who are you? So it's, yeah. And it's even today, people are like, are you so excited? And I'm like, no, not really. I'm very grateful. But I also have this anxiety in my head because, again, I've also seen where things aren't always perfect and go, perfectly. And you always have that thought in your head. The one thing I've learned, though, is that every story is different. And just because it happens to one person doesn't always necessarily mean it happens to me. But my problem is then I do put that in the back of my head of that could happen, not that it's going to. So a specific memory that I had was when I was pregnant back in 2023. And, at that point, the world was back open. We were being social. We were going to do a frozen embryo transfer, but you still have to do medications with that. And so While I'm very open, I still get very private during that process because I don't want people to be cycle tracking me or tracking my appointments, because again, I just want to have control of kind of that narrative. And so when I was going through the frozen embryo transfer, I still had to do these progesterone shots after they did the transfer. Well, we had all these plans. And so something with progesterone shots is you have to get shots in your butt every night the same time for like weeks. And so our friend had a birthday party and it obviously was past 8 p.m. And so I had to take my husband, sneak up to one of the kids' rooms at our friend's house and have him give me a shot. And I think people saw us come out of that bedroom and they're like, what the heck are they doing? And little did they know, like I had needles and alcohol prep pads and oils in my purse. And, I was so anal about making sure that I had that shot on time. And so again, your mind just goes into hyper mode of like, I have to do this or something's going to happen. And then the other story is I, got the opportunity to interview for a job out in San Diego, and I was doing the progesterone shots. Well, that required me to give myself a shot. And I was typically used to doing the ones in the stomach, but not the ones in the butt. And you can't really do the shots in the butt by yourself. It's almost near impossible. And so the other place you can do it is in your thigh. Well, 8 p.m. came about, and I was actually on the flight to San Diego. And so I had to go into the bathroom on the flight, 30,000 feet up in the air, and pump myself up enough to stab myself in the thigh while on a flight. And it was one of those situations where I stepped back and I'm like, you are such a badass for doing this, but like, I can't believe you had to do this. And again, just kind of the whole experience, trying to hide all of that, with your friends and family and coworkers it was tough. Some advice I would give anyone going through this journey right now is to advocate like hell for yourself. I think that you are the only person who knows your body and your needs better than anybody. And so what I've learned through this whole process is that no one's going to have you or make you do any of these steps within your fertility journey. You have to really advocate and ask for it for yourself. And so without that, there's not many places that you're going to go. But the good news is there are so many great resources that we have, even locally, where you're able to kind of get that care that you need and deserve. I'm so lucky to have such a supportive partner. It's in the beginning when you're going through the cycle tracking, it's a very transactional relationship is the best way to put it. And so when you find a partner like I have who is able to really sit down and be there with me and support me with whatever, we needed, whether it was tests or appointments, et cetera, just really made this process a little bit easier on me. He was the one who kept my schedules for my shots, schedules for my appointments. In COVID, he waited in the parking lot when I had my, surgery because he couldn't come in. And I'm just very thankful for kind of his support and love through this whole process. If you have a friend who is going through this process and this journey, the first thing that I'm going to tell you to do is don't give unsolicited advice. Don't make comments like, don't worry about it, don't think about it, and it will just happen. Those kind of things don't help, and those kind of comments really don't help support that person in any way, shape, or form. When you're going through infertility, you've kind of lost hope by then of it just happening. If you don't think about it, you're too far gone for that. There's no way not to think about it. And so the best way that you can support your friend or your family member is just to be there however they want you to be there. I think that's like the most important. I think for me, I have, my husband has a very big family. I have a big family. And so we decided to really keep it more private going through the process. Because again, we didn't want to have people invested in every single step of the process because there is disappointment. And so I think kind of just setting expectations with people as well of like, mom and dad, I didn't tell you for a reason, but I'm telling you this output right now, I think is really important. And again, it's just having people that can help, respect that, I think was really huge. The positive things that have come out of my experience within this journey has been definitely connecting with other people that are going through it. It's a lot of old coworkers or old friends that I've recently been able to connect with again. Just being able to offer them guidance and support, I think has been really cool. And also to kind of share my story with them on a more personal level has really kind of helped me kind of open up. And I definitely feel that you know, I don't even know what the word is. It makes me feel really good to be like a support person for them, because I want them to have a safe space, because when I was going through this, I didn't necessarily know anybody going through it also at the time. And so I wish I had somebody like that I could text or, talk to on Instagram, just to be able to ask, is this normal? What did you do in this situation? What should I do in this situation? And so definitely advocate and, get your tribe.